I can understand many of the speakers who are here tonight. And it's also important to point out that as members who were elected by the public, that any kind of allegations, as words that were used this evening, allegations and accusations, which have not yet been proven by our judicial system, I would share with the board that we do have that presumption of innocence unless otherwise found. I think additionally, in my clarification of the questions, in terms of the amounts that were presented here, that these are estimates and not necessarily what those costs are. That because we are not individuals who live in this community who are of the wealthy, who have the ability to represent at that level like other elected officials in our nation, in our state. And that there is, if anything, maybe conditions can be considered. And that conditions of reimbursement, I think, need to be considered. And if anyone was found guilty as the charges that have been put in front of them, that they would pay every penny back.
I've known several of you, particularly Brookie Young's and early costs, I've known particularly well for about 10 years. And I have to say, the time and energy that you've put in on behalf of education is really remarkable. And job, and I've seen you in the evening, I've seen you take time out of your own schedule, take time away from your own families. And you know, and I have to say that regardless of what happens, there are a lot of us that will always remember the work that you've done. And
the children are watching. You've seen myself and many others up here for the past 2 years, some even more than that. We've tried to bring attention to many things that are going on in this district. Not only for the Vega report, I also requested the release of the alleged second opinion on the separation agreement for Dr. Dominic. This second opinion probably stated that he could have been fired for cause. With 8 felony counts against him, you would think so. So, now, John, you received it. Why did you share it with your fellow board members? Did Dr. Dominic have too much information? Was it hush money? John, you messed this up. You cost the district and the taxpayers over $500,000 or more. What a shame that you could not be as honest as you claim to be. What a shame that you lied to me and took the convenience for you. I am ashamed of you, and I am ashamed to admit I once supported you.
Rhonda was gone. Then bada boom, bada bang, Dr. Ed Brant walked up on the stage. My exact words were, what the hell is going on? I defended you initially, Dr. Brant, a lot. I wanted to believe that you loved Sweetwater as much as I did, but I was wrong. I asked you about this stuff. Your response was this: Ms. Cheers, this district simply cannot deal with Ms. Stubbs here. If the past 6 months has been healing, I would hate to see your definition of death. Ms. Stubbs, you did nothing wrong. She reported a wrong, but in your view, that was a crime, and you wanted to send a clear message. No one exposes what is going on in Sweetwater. Sweetwater employees, see what I will do to you if you do. In closing, I would like to present to Dr. Brant, Mr. McCann, and Ms. Ricasa a book. A book you will hopefully all read and learn from. Ms. Quinones, Mr. Carpenter, yours is on the way. It is a book on political corruption. Audience, the name of the book is Greedy Bastards by Dylan Radley.
In the last 5 years, our district has been subjected to scandal after scandal, indignity after indignity. insult after insult. Tonight, it is time for this travesty to come to an end. We must ensure that the district pays not one penny in legal fees for any of its current or former board members, employees, or paid consultants. We must release the Baker report and all other related investigations so that the public knows the full extent of the lying and corruption that has plagued us.
Some of you may be holding trustee positions in another state institution by the time all this is over. Some will not, but all of you are suspects. None of you are deserving of public office. Thank you.
But I think it's important to put in perspective what $1.7 million or $1.3 million means when you spend money the wrong way. I always try to think of it in terms of how many teachers don't have to receive pay slips. How many sports teams do they pay for? How many specialists? How many counselors? How many uniforms? How many band instruments? These are the things that we should be spending our money on. Whether you are innocent or guilty, think about stepping down because a recall also costs the district hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do not put these people through that. Do not put these people through that. Save that money. Give it back to the schools and the students where it belongs. Could you please send me a copy right now?
We no longer see you fit to sit in public office. We had an official, an administrator, forge another administrative signature. The PR firm that was hired by SGI was paid $500,000 to do what? And on. But Mr. Canaris, to answer your question, SGI through June of last year was paid a total of $26 million. And that's not including what's yet to come. But John McCann is sitting up there recording this meeting. Are you just stupid?
And that's where I have a problem. Why do we have such a policy that it's okay to take gifts, to go out to dinner? Why is that okay? Legal is not the same as moral. And it's more important.
This could have been an opportunity for this board to say to the community, we understand that the perception of corruption and pay-for-play has to stop. But no, this board continues to put their own interests before that of transparency and ethics. Quite simply, in my opinion, your refusal boils down to greed. You don't want to give up tens of thousands of dollars in campaign contributions from district vendors whose contracts you vote on. Shame on you. The people in this community want an end to corruption and pay-to-play culture. And if you don't do it, we want leadership that will.
I don't want to be here. I am so angry that I can barely speak. You board members are ashamed of the good name of Sweetwater. Nobody said they're sorry. They said anything. I want to address the board on the issue of your inability to select a superintendent for character. The last Stafford didn't have character, and I don't believe Dr. Brant has character either.
How can you limit the voice of the people who voted you into office? Answer, you have been too long on the board. You know, at my son's school, the teachers are sitting on top, the students are sitting on top of each other because there isn't any room, because the classrooms are overcrowded. Unlike some of the other beautiful campuses that have been created here in the last few years, they don't have the technology and infrastructure to provide technology in the classroom so they can be competing with the same level at the schools that are in the east part of this. It's unconscionable that you would take over $1 million worth of our public financing and use it to defend yourself. If you feel that this district gave you bad instruction, then you go defend yourself with your own dime.
And I've been a teacher here at Hilltop 5 for 27 years, half of my life. I love my job and I love my school. I am here to set the record straight. It is not the Sweetwater teachers that have brought shame upon this district. Instead, it is the Sweetwater leaders who have failed our students. It is the leaders who have been indicted. It is the leaders who have lied and cheated, and it is the leaders who have placed their greed and hunger for power ahead of the needs of our kids. I am still proud to declare that I am a Sweetwater teacher. Yes. We will save our district, and we will drive out corruption, and we will triumph.
Board members, stop hiding the truth. We as children are taught to always do the right thing. In school, we are taught to respect each other and always make the right decisions. So why has there been so much corruption happening in the Sweetwater district? I understand that we are not perfect, but to be corrupt to this extent, taking things away from the kids your job was meant for? So when you said Sweetwater district was transparent, you didn't really mean it, did you? My parents and all the other children's parents work hard to pay taxes for their kids to go to school. That money shouldn't be used to pay for the board members and trainings. It should go towards improving the schools. So clean up your act. Next year when I enter middle school, I want to be proud of my district, not ashamed of what they have hidden from us. So engrave these words in your heads, board members. Integrity, unselfishness, kindness, and always be truthful. Because the truth will set you free. We, the next generation, want anyone who did anything wrong to accept it, do the right thing, and move on. To do the right thing, board members, we've had enough of your games.